So LEGO announced 3 new Animal Crossing sets that'll be coming out August of 2025. I thought it would be pretty cool to kind of give it a look-see, what we're working with, and then talk about my opinions, what sticks out to me. Within this August wave of Animal Crossing, there are going to be 3 sets. First one is 77058 Goldie's Cozy House for $20. Second is 77057 Creative Houses Season of Fun for a whopping $90. Whopping, not for LEGO in general. There are sets that are a lot more expensive, but for Animal Crossing, this one sticks out because it's the most expensive out of the theme so far. Beyond this Creative Houses one, the next most expensive would have been the Town Hall that came with KK Slider and the other 2. That was $80, so this is $10 more than that. And then we also have 77056 Blathers Museum Collection, which is, speak of the devil, $80. So we have typical nice small price, you get a minifigure, you get a little house for like, $20, no big deal. Then you get a set that's as expensive as the last most expensive set, and then you get a set bigger than that. Hopefully bigger than that. We'll look at that. So we'll start with Goldie's Cozy House. So start small, work our way down. There's not really a lot to talk about. I do, like the Goldie's here. Goldie's a pretty iconic villager. Very adorable. Got her little Argyle dressed thing. I will say, though, the one problem that I have with it is on the box for the LEGO set, you see a picture of Goldie, and it's like a long sleeve dress with the pattern all over, But in the minifigure, her arms are like the same color as her face, so it's like a sleeveless Argyle tank top. Like she's a buff nerd or something, which it looks a little funny, but that wasn't something I really noticed until I started looking at the pictures a little bit deeper. It's still cool to have her, even if, it'd be cool to have some arm printing to make it actually look like a dress as opposed to a tank top Argyle sweater. As far as the house goes, I do like the idea of these smaller houses that might not adhere to the layout of the houses we've gotten so far in the Animal Crossing theme. To bounce over to the Creative Houses set real quick, those adhere more to that, like you have the roof in the front and then kind of a 2-dimensional archway layout, whereas this one, it's more just kind of a standard house, like when you think of a house. I don't necessarily think of the main roof going like diagonal towards the door, but I understand why they're doing that, because like the bigger houses in Animal Crossing, there's like an archway and then a larger roof that's like going horizontal behind it, if that makes any sense. Whereas this Goldie house, it's more along the lines of once you upgrade your tent in New Horizons, you get like this little bitty house. It almost looks like a dog house. Funny that it's Goldie that they're packaging it with. And that's obviously what this house is inspired by, and I think that's neat to have that. If there ever were like human villager minifigures, I think having this kind of house available to have that villager quote-unquote live in would be cool, because typically the animal villagers, they live in like the more colorful, thematic to who they are houses. Kind of sad Goldie doesn't get that, but Goldie's a normal villager in personality, if I remember correctly, so whatever. As far as the other little things that this house comes with, you get a really, rudimentary picnic table with a croissant and a pear, which is cool. Nothing fancy. And a snail, which is pretty dope. I do like the snail. Mailbox. I'm not saying this isn't, like, accurate to the games or anything, because I want to say in New Horizons you can change the mailbox. Okay, looking at a picture for, like, the... Okay, yeah, the mailbox for, like, the first couple houses, it actually does look like that. It's like a wooden post, almost, with just, like, a box on top. When I think of an Animal Crossing mailbox, I think, like, the iconic red with the blue, you know, flag that sticks up when you have mail. So I guess that works, you know. It's funny, I will say, looking at these Lego Animal Crossing sets, whenever I'll be like, that's not accurate to the games, and then it just turns out I haven't played New Horizons in a couple years, and my brain is still in, like, Wild World mode or something, you know. When I think of Animal Crossing, I'm still thinking of when I played it on the school bus in middle school. I'm not thinking of 2020. All in all, it's a pretty decent set. I will say it's 149 pieces in the set for $20, so it looks like the price hike is hitting a little bit, because as a general rule, from what I've heard, a Lego brick should be like it's valued at, like, an average of 10 cents. There are obviously pieces that are much cheaper than that, like the little poop that's like the snail shell on that snail in this set. I can't imagine that's more than, like, 3 cents, you know, in value. And then you have, like, bigger pieces that or more valuable, rarer pieces that, you know, maybe even go for, like, $1, but generally speaking are so uncommon that it doesn't really skew that average. So as a general rule, I look at a Lego set, like the amount of pieces that are in it, and I think to myself, 10 cents a piece, how many pieces are there? What's the price? So at 149, that's about $15 in value, I mean. From some of the price hikes I've seen on the Star Wars sets, it does seem like they've been putting, like, an extra $5. So I guess that it makes sense in the logic of what they've been doing. So yeah, as a general rule, extra $5 kind of sucks, but here we are. To bounce over to the next most expensive set, 77056 Blathers Museum Collection. This one, speaking of price, that's a nice segue. It's $80. Let's subtract 5, that's $75. It's 543 pieces. That means it should be closer to, like, what, $54? That's a lot more. That's not a very good value. It sucks, because this is a set that I want personally. And it's a set that when you look up, like, Animal Crossing, who should get a set, what should get a set next kind of deal. The museum was, like, a big one. It's looking like it's going to be one of those sets that you gotta wait for a sale, you know? Now, what's in it? Obviously the museum. You get Blathers, which is another kind of obvious assumption. You also get a little fountain with another poop snail. It's pretty dope. You get a little dinosaur fossil, and then just some little typical Lego Animal Crossing biome with some bugs. Spider, a fish, a butterfly, etc. When you look at the picture, the museum looks like the flattest building that they've made for this set, but in this article, it doesn't show any of, like, the other pictures that I've seen of the museum. But if I remember correctly, it's actually like one of those, there's 3 walls and you can, like, fold out the outer walls to make a bigger space. And I think that's cool. It works pretty well for the museum. I think, you know, maybe that sort of thing for all the houses would be pretty cool, but if any one building should have that thing, it should be the museum. And, you know, the typical, you can customize what's inside that the other Animal Crossing Lego sets have done. Except with this, it's like, you know, where do you want the fossil exhibit to be? Where do you want the bug exhibit to be? Etc., etc. Which is pretty neat. I don't really, off the top of my head, know how many fish and bug Lego pieces there are. I know there's a scorpion. Scorpions are in Animal Crossing, and I know I have a Lego scorpion, so, you know, maybe you can cram that in there. There's like the sharks from, I don't want to say the older sets, because I'm sure there's a set more recently that's had a shark in it, but, you know, that's also really big compared to like the silly little fish. There's multiple of that fish piece. You know, I'm pretty sure I have a blue one. I guess you could do that, just have multiples of the same fish in different colors. Off the top of my head, I don't remember if you can catch frogs in Animal Crossing. I might be thinking of Breath of the Wild. I feel like the quote-unquote exhibit that you could get the most mileage out of is the fossil exhibit, because all you need is a lot of white and gray pieces, and you could just kind of brick build your own fossils and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe you could make like little brick built portraits of like art pieces, like the Mona Lisa or something. Make it almost like a little minimalist Minecraft version of the paintings in question. Yeah, I'm curious to see the inside. Unfortunately, this article I'm reading, it doesn't have those pictures, so I'm just kind of going off of memory of other pictures I've seen on other websites. I haven't talked about it, but there is a minifigure that comes with this. It's Lily the Frog. Lily, as like an individual character, is like, okay, you know, an adorable little frog character. There are much better frog characters that they could make a minifigure of. Namely, my boy Ribot, best Animal Crossing villager. Don't at me unless you agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, you're more than welcome to at me. Let me know down below in the comments whether or not you agree with me. Is Ribot the best villager, or do you have a nostalgic attachment to a different villager? One thing that I love about the Lego Animal Crossing sets, the headpieces, while yes, they have to make individual headpieces, unlike, you know, a typical Lego minifigure, which just uses the same little spherical prism cylinder. I don't know. I guess it's a cylinder technically. Cylindrical headpiece. They have to make these unique animal headpieces, but similar to the game, the Animal Crossing games, once they make a headpiece, they have the headpiece for theoretically every other villager of that species. Now, I already said, Ribot's my boy, 10 out of 10 villager. He's a frog villager as well. So now that they have this Lily minifigure, it's only a matter of time. It's literally up to them. Like, just they just gotta print the colors and put it in a set, and bada bing, bada boom, we got Ribot. We got the VIP of the set. That's a nice segue into our last set of this video, the, Creative Houses Season of Fun. Because all three of these minifigures are actually using headpieces from pre-existing Animal Crossing minifigures, which perfectly serves to confirm what I said. So this wolf, who apparently isn't Whitney, it's Fang. I've never heard of Fang. That was probably because I would see Fang and think Whitney. For those who don't know, Whitney is a more iconic villager. It's like a white wolf lady. She was a supporting character in the Animal Crossing anime movie that came out way back in the day. Fang uses the same headpiece as Audie from the Town Hall, the KK concert set. Stitches is a little more obscure because his headpiece, it's the bear cub headpiece that was used for Maple in Maple's Pumpkin Garden. Maple is a bear cub, Stitches is a bear cub. Same build, just different colors. And then Fuchsia is a much more gaudy version of the deer headpiece that Fauna used in the, I think it's called Isabel's House Visit set. So all three of these are like utilizing this little theoretical principle that I talked about with Lily, where now we're getting like multiples of villager species, and we'd already seen it before. Like we had Tangy in Tangy the cat in the airport set. I don't remember what it's called. But then we also had Rosie the cat in the Nook's Cranny and Rosie's house set. So, you know, same exact headpiece, different colors, different printing. And then we also had Sasha the rabbit in the Able Sisters shop set, and Bunny, Bunny the rabbit with the tent, you know. Outside of this $90 set, the $90 set with stitches. Blathers, I would assume, you know, I can Google it real quick, but I would assume Blathers uses the same headpiece as Celeste. Yep, the only thing that had me apprehensive about that statement was the eyebrows, but Celeste has those eyebrows as well. So yeah, it's cool seeing them kind of get more into a groove of, okay, now that we've made this species headpiece, we can start more cheaply making new villagers of that species. So I'm looking forward to seeing, I think her name is Judy, the like pink starry bear cub, and you know, more of the wolves. I don't really know any deer villagers off the top of my head. I already said Ribbot, you know, Lucky the dog, the one that's like covered in bandages, etc., etc., etc. There's plenty of villagers that they can, you know, implement now that they have these physically existing head molds already created. As far as the builds in this set, we get 814 Lego pieces, which would be around, I guess $80-ish, $81 or so. Add 5, it's still more expensive than the brick count would allow for theoretically, but it doesn't seem as egregious as the museum, which is nice. It seems to be theoretically like the same as the Nook's Cranny and Rosie thing, but maybe with a little more like outdoor stuff. Maybe there's a little more furniture in the houses that you can deal with. There's like an extra villager. I guess sometimes when there's more minifigures, you know, maybe they're like, therefore it justifies a higher price, but I don't know. Now, for the actual builds, I think it's cool that we're getting a little bridge. It's very simple, but it's neat to have like an official means of building like an Animal Crossing stone bridge. Now, for those who are building their own like Animal Crossing villages, they actually have a means of, okay, this is how I can build a bridge. So not only do you have one, but now you have a means of building this otherwise pretty simple bridge build. Then the other outdoor stuff you get to represent springtime, you get like a cherry blossom tree with some bamboo next to it. Another butterfly that you can incorporate into the whoever's going to go catch stuff for the museum or whatever, which is pretty cool. I also like this little lily flower thing on the water. The summertime build, pretty lame. It's cool that there's like pears, but honestly, the trees in these Animal Crossing sets, they ain't looking like Animal Crossing trees to me, but I feel like that's probably not a hot take. I feel like anyone who's looked at these and is a fan of Animal Crossing is like, it looks like a Duplo tree, not an Animal Crossing tree. But I like that they got these pears, that's pretty cool. The fall one is like a neat little diorama. You got like mushrooms and a little pumpkin, and of course like the amber leaf color. But the big one for me is the winter, because one, you got this like, I just noticed it, this snowflake emblem thing what the heck is that? You know, that's pretty cool, I guess. Just the spirit of Christmas is hanging out in this winter diorama. But then you get a snowman. Anyone who knows me knows I love me a snowman. And Animal Crossing do be having snowmen, and there he is. There's a snowman. There's my boy. I'm so happy about that. Outside of all that, we also have this little, I guess, like moving cart dolly thing that Fang is holding. It comes with a little Nooks Cranny branded box and some various brick-built Animal Crossing furniture. Obviously, the one that sticks out is the one that 2 of the 3 minifigures is carrying, the like grandfather clock. That's pretty cool. As far as the houses themselves go, what I assume is supposed to be Fuchsia's house is pink. You know, I guess if you got a girl villager, especially one who is pink, you gotta have that. Of course, we gotta go better house, the one from my boy Stitches, because it's Stitches colored. It's like that yellowish orange and green. I want to give a shout out to this Stitches figure because it does about as much as it can do with the limitations of the minifigure body that it's given to like represent the colors of Stitches. So for those who don't know, Stitches is an Animal Crossing villager. It's like a teddy bear, basically, like a stuffed bear, and each of his limbs are like a different color. He's a very colorful character. As far as the head goes, you know, the ears are different colors, and like there's a big purple stripe going down his head. That all can be handled with like the printing because, you know, like I said, there was already this headpiece. So, you know, the elaborate design, I guess, of this childlike teddy bear character it's no big deal. It's handled by the printing. However, his arms are different colors, and in the picture you see like the green arm. His left arm is green. If you look real closely at the box, you can see some blue on that right arm, which means his arms are completely different colors, which is awesome, because one thing I like about that, you know, character design is the blue arm. I do like some blue. I will say the lowest point of this design for this character is the fact that the legs aren't different colors, but they like kind of colored the toes. Like one is that, I think, orange, and the other is green. But I'm pretty sure for the physique, for lack of a better word, of the bear cub villager minifigures, they have those like child legs that don't bend. They're just like one piece. So maybe it's harder. Maybe it's like that they just don't have those be different colors because it's one piece. You know, it would essentially be marbling at that point. It's not like with like normal minifigure legs where it's like 2 independent pieces that are attached to a hinge on like a little Lego pelvis, you know. It's literally one piece. And like I said, it would be marbling to make the legs like individual colors. And so that's why I say within the limitations of the minifigure, they have gone out of their way to make the colors of the character accurate to the game, and I do appreciate that as a Stitches fan. Fuchsia, I try not to pay too much attention to because I don't like the colors. And Fang in this picture is like hidden behind a cart, which is probably why most people looked at her and was like, oh, that's Whitney, you know. All in all, I think it's a cool wave. I'll definitely buy all of them because up to this point I have already. Why not just keep going? Looking at the prices again and the amount of like Lego pieces you actually get, I am a little disappointed. Even outside of like the tariff related price hike or what have you. It is, I will say, Goldie's house seems to be like the biggest bang for your buck and the museum seems to be the worst, which sucks. But I will at least get like the seasonal Stitches one and the Goldie one, and then probably wait for like a price drop for the museum. But anyhow, I just wanted to share my thoughts on the new Animal Crossing sets. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you see, make sure to follow, subscribe, whatever it is. If you want to see me open Legos live, I do that every once in a while over on my Twitch. It's twitch.tv/bluestar_ubu. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon. I upload videos early and do exclusive drawing on there. So if you want to be a part of that, go for it. Link will be in the description. I'll come at you with another video soon. Bye.